Hello everyone, how are you guys doing? Welcome back to another episode of a Doctor Who reaction. Last time in Doctor Who we got oxygen. Shit got real. Shit just got real. We fought capitalism in space, late stage capitalism, latest possible stage capitalism. We saved the galaxy from it, and then we went on to make some other bullshit, because we always do. But most importantly, we had an adventure with Bill and Noddle, and of course the Doctor, and in the process, the Doctor went blind. Because he had to save Bill, but he just straight up went blind. So that's the thing that's happening right now. That kind of sucks. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It's like 1 hour later than I usually start recording these things, or even a couple if I start really early. Short version is I don't have a lot of time, so I'm just gonna make this like a super quick intro, and I'm just gonna get right into it. And I understand that people often like quick intros, but that's not my jam. But it has to be today. So previous episode, shit got real. Doctor went blind. I talk a lot about how I feel about that and what I believe that would mean, or like predictions and shit like that in the previous episode. Now, let's just get into it. Doctor Who Series 10, Episode 6. Let's go.
It will stop both hearts, all three brain stems, and deliver a cellular shockwave that will permanently disable regenerative ability.
Following termination, the body will be placed in a quantum fold chamber.
Okay, so
under constant guard for no less than 1,000 years.
Oh, Doctor, I didn't expect you.
I guess we're having a reveal then.
Thought you'd retired. Domestic bliss on Beryllium.
The prisoner will kneel.
Thank you.
So I guess this is what happened. New email, Extremis, downloading. Okay. Extremis by Moff. Here we go.
We have come here to see you because your services and wisdom are recommended at the highest level.
I like that guy's accent. Sounds legit.
His Holiness the Pope, the Bishop of Rome, request most urgently a personal audience.
Well, if he's so keen to talk to me, why didn't he just come here himself?
He is here. He's standing right in front of us. Extremis.
There is an ancient text.
This episode is
buried
something.
in the most secret of the Vatican libraries. Text older than the church itself. The language of this text is lost to us. But thanks to the work of an early Christian sect, the title has survived. The truth,
Obviously, this sect, they understood the language.
it died with them. And all copies of their translation disappeared shortly after their mass suicide.
Mass
A few months
suicide.
ago, after many centuries of work, the Veritas was translated again. Everyone who worked on the translation and everyone who subsequently read it is now dead. A few pages only, and yet contains a secret that drives all who know it to destroy themselves.
Confirmed suicides, all of them?
In every case, beyond doubt.
All bodies recovered?
Except one.
I have very strict rules about men.
Yeah,
Probably
well,
not as strict as mine.
how about women?
Oh, hello, are you Moira?
I'm sorry. Here's me thinking that she dragged some poor, terrified man home.
Well, phew. Oh, phew.
Oh god. Alright, here comes Crazy Young. It's the Pope! It's
Chi
just...
siete voi due ragazzi? Come mai sono finito qui in questa casa? Io ho pensato che avremmo tornato al Vaticano. Questa è una pazzia. Dottore, perché mi hai portato qui?
Bill, that was the Pope.
That was the Pope, yes. I'm pretty sure that he was saying, like, I walked in and he was really crazy and I thought I would be in the Vatican, but, like, I'm pretty sure that that's what he said. I don't speak Italian, but what the yeah, what?
Oh my god. No, Penny. Wait.
Well, this kind of ruined it.
And what is that?
It's a sort of a reading aid.
It looks dangerous. Pope Benedict said that you were more in need of confession than any man breathing. But when the offer was made, you replied it would take too much time.
It would.
My madman in a box. My doctor.
What? The fuck?
Your missus wouldn't approve.
How the hell did you get here?
Followed you from Darillium.
I thought it would be Naro.
Explicit orders of your late wife, River Song. Warning, I have full permission to kick your ass.
Il Signore illuminare il vostro cammino.
Illuminate your path.
Light your path.
Yeah, okay. Like, the thing about Spanish and Italian is that they're pretty similar to each other. So I can, like, discern, like, a couple words, but not a lot of them. It's the way with all of these languages. French, Spanish, Italian. I like this episode already. It's pretty fun. It's like crazy shit just happening.
In darkness, we are revealed.
Okay.
I regret, gentlemen.
This consultation is over.
I promise. I'll turn good, please. Teach me how to be.
It's weird. It's weird
Without hope.
because it's like...
Without witness. Without reward.
Oh look, it's a mysterious light shining round a corner, approximately 10 feet away.
Hello? Who's there?
Doctor?
This library is forbidden.
No, wait!
Who are you?
It's just a straight up portal.
I'm sorry.
Is that the dude who survived, whose body they never found?
I sent it. Symbol.
Hey, there's Wi-Fi down here.
Really?
What's this Wi-Fi? It's a library.
Reading chair with a safety belt.
What's CERN?
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 The European Organization of Nuclear Research, the largest...
I know what CERN is.
...on this planet. Why?
Why?
Because 4 hours ago, someone, that priest presumably, emailed them a copy of the Veritas translation from this computer.
Remember what he said? He said, I sent it. Pray for us. When do a bunch of scientists ask for prayers?
At the same time anyone does.
When shit goes down.
Very afraid.
Oh my god, what the fuck does that say? Some alien bullshit. Never mind. I mean, he can't read it, but... Oh, the device he made. Maybe then he can. Oh, it sends like a mental image to him. Not by eyes, but just like by machine, I guess. Yeah, walking in front of Bill.
You're to walk behind me now, like the doctor said.
Totally not happening.
Okay, Bill. Miss Potts? I'm the only person you've ever met or will ever meet who is officially licensed to kick the doctor's ass. I will happily do the same to you in the event that you do not align yourself with any instructions I have issued, which I personally judge to be in the best interests of your safety and survival. Okay?
I like Naruto. I like Naruto a lot.
Are you secretly a badass?
Yeah.
Secret about it, baby doll.
Oh my god. Do not walk towards it. They both simultaneously walk towards it.
I'm not absolutely sure how this is going to work. Either it's going to temporarily fix my eyesight, or it's going to burn out my brain.
I know I'm going to die. I have to say it. The truth.
Hmm?
Without hope. Without witness. Without reward. I am your friend.
I will guard this body
For 1,000.
for 1,000 years.
Yeah. So did he just stay for 1,000 years on Earth? From like the year 1000 to the year 2000? Yeah, where are they?
The Pentagon.
Oh! Oh, it's
So the Pentagon is through there.
okay. Let's try this next.
And the Vatican?
Oh my god, all the most important buildings in the world are like connected to each other through this like nexus of portals? The fuck? Where are we? CERN?
Hello?
You could be in CERN.
Are you coming? We all go together when we go.
We'll all go together when we go. This is CERN. Like, the thing in the world makes... Yeah, it is CERN.
I've walked. I can see.
You can see somewhat.
Not well enough. Not yet.
You can't see the fact that he's not a cardinal, he's like a mummy
The thing
cardinal.
about the universe is, whatever you need, you can always borrow. I get a few minutes of proper eyesight, but I lose something.
What?
Maybe all my future regenerations will be blind. Maybe I won't regenerate ever again. Maybe I'll drop dead in 20 minutes, but...
He doesn't know, okay. Yeah, he only needs to read the document. Okay, what does CERN know? They're all getting drugged for the end of the world or whatever in 5 minutes.
I've been around everywhere, and I've checked everything. It's all ready to go.
This might be a part 1, honestly.
5 minutes.
They're gonna blow themselves up. They don't even want to be alive for what's going to happen.
Oh my god.
Wow, nobody wants to be alive for what's going to happen. What the fuck is this? Okay, what could be the worst imaginable thing that you can think about? The entire world becomes a zombie or something. A test of shadows. The translation. Read it. Keep going. Motherfucker. Motherfucker! What could be so fucking horrible that the entire world just says, you know what? It's better for us to die before it happens. A world event.
We're saving the world.
We should go. We should probably even run.
Saving the
How is
world?
blowing yourselves up saving the world?
Because this isn't the world.
This isn't what?
What?
Bill, tiny bit running out. You haven't read it.
No.
You haven't read the Veritas. Any number. Both of you.
36.
Try again. Keep going.
The reality is a simulation? Are we going in that? Somehow?
9. 48. 103. A million.
7,000,007.
67.
905. 20,460.
Are we doing reality as a simulation and this is just a glitch in the Matrix? Whenever you tap a table and you think of a number, it's the exact same one. We're going.
Those numbers, how do they do that?
Ooh. Oh, not all.
You okay?
Did you figure it out?
No.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, no. No, you're not.
Someone's been through here.
Oh. Where did they go?
Doctor.
What do they look like?
Hmm?
Projectors.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're projecting the portals.
No, they're not. They're projecting everything. Those worlds, they're all projected. The Pentagon, the Vatican, CERN.
They're not real.
No, they're holograms. They're holographic simulations, and the people in them too.
Sorry, what?
Reality is a simulation. They're all simulations. Except this place you're standing in right now. Right?
Maybe when we arrived at the Vatican?
No, all of reality
I
would be.
programmed the TARDIS myself. We were on target. We went to the Vatican, the real one. I'm sure of it.
No, the Vatican wasn't simulation.
Oh? Those machines, they project the simulation.
And they're all Earth points.
And I'm just wondering, what happens if we move outside the light of the projector?
You cease to exist.
Please don't let me be right.
You're gonna be right, Nardole. And it's gonna be terrible.
Oh! I'm part of it! I'm part of the simulation! Bill! I'm not real!
No!
Total communication blackout with the White House, yeah. So, I assume the White House is one of the major points. No, you're in the White House.
Hello, Doctor.
I listened to it. There's this thing on here. It reads aloud to you. It's very useful.
Yeah.
He needs Nardole. Where is Nardole?
He disintegrated after he left the simulation we're all living in.
The Veritas tells of an evil demon who wants to conquer the world. So he creates a shadow world. A world for him to practice conquering.
So there is a real...
Full of shadow people who think they're real.
So there is a real version of the world, but this is not it.
The Veritas invites you to write down as many numbers as you like. Of any size, any order. And then turn the page.
All the same numbers in the same order.
Imagine an alien life form of immense power and sophistication, and it wants to conquer the Earth.
And they're gonna, because this is the test. You are the simulation.
This is real. I feel it.
Yeah, well.
Those deaths, they weren't suicide. Those were people escaping.
Yeah, something like
It's
that.
like Super Mario. Figuring out what's going on, deleting himself from the game.
Alright, that's also true.
Sick of dying.
Yep.
No, I'm real. I feel real.
Yeah, exactly. Why is that happening to her? Oh! If they get you, they delete you.
Tell me off. I have nothing. Not even hope.
Why is he gonna tell you anything?
Without witness, without reward.
I'm your only friend.
I'm not sure I believe anything. But right now, belief is all I am.
That's a good line.
I am the Doctor. I am what stands between you and them.
You are not the Doctor. You are not real.
You don't have to be real to be the Doctor.
This is true.
Long as you never give up.
Yes.
Long as you always trick the bad guys into their own traps. They're said to record. I'm blind, you see. So I'm psychically wired into these. So my memory print of the last few hours will still be intact on here.
And you send it to the real doctor.
You are not real.
But information is real. Information is real. You can send it to the real people outside of the simulation.
Email.
Yeah? Are you gonna send this memory file to yourself?
Calling the Doctor.
Yeah!
Pressing send.
The real one. Recording ends.
Are you on a date?
No.
Are you sure?
I think I'd kind of notice.
Yeah, because he knows what happened
A girl
here.
called Penny. Something's coming, Bill. Something very big. And something possibly very, very bad. And I have the feeling that we're going to be very busy. Call her tonight.
Oi, get off!
Yeah?
I've just been executed. Show a little respect.
She's alive. She's a friend of mine. I may have fiddled with your wiring a little bit.
You will not leave this planet alive.
Do me a favor. The fatality index. Look up the Doctor.
You have an entry, just like any other sentient being.
What does the entry
Cause
say?
of death.
Under cause of death, the doctor.
You do seem to have an impressive record of fatalities credited to you.
Where are you going? He's unarmed.
It's like,
You are unarmed.
Always.
You stand alone.
Often.
You're the one who should be afraid.
Never.
Have a nice day then.
I'm out.
Help me move Missy to the vault. Something's coming, Missy. And I'm blind. How can I save them when I'm lost in the dark?
Well, you can regain your eyesight somewhat if you do what your simulation self did. And he knows that. He got the full memory imprint, so. Okay. Sure. Oh my god. Jesus. Okay. That episode was hot, dude. Okay, alright. Alright, that episode was fucking hot. Okay, Doctor Who's rolling. Okay, so... Okay, let's talk about the simulation, because I feel like we have to. I was under the impression that the entire season was a simulation. And it might have been. Like, it really might have been. But... honestly, it was just the episode. Because it seems like the events of Oxygen are still present in the real world version of the Doctor, and Bill is still the Doctor's companion. So it seems like the simulation was really just this episode only. So I don't want to say that was kind of a bummer, but it's not really a bummer, but it's like, I thought it would be crazier. Because, okay, here's the thing, is that, like, if you're gonna go hard on the simulation thing, it is... If you're gonna go hard on the simulation thing, it's like, you have to actually say that everything is a simulation, not just some fake world that doesn't actually matter. Because, like, okay, so it doesn't matter to us as the audience, because the real world is parallel to the simulation world, and we've been following the real world for the first 5 episodes, and the simulation was only this one, essentially. I mean, it's still pretty good, but it's like, when the reveal of the simulation happened, I was like, oh shit, the entire season has been a simulation? And it's like, well, no, only this episode, right? Like, we could have been following, theoretically, the entire season just a simulation, but since the events of the simulation seem to be parallel to the events of the real world, hence why it was a perfect simulation, then it doesn't matter, essentially. Like, I was fully expecting the reveal of the simulation to happen, and then it's like, then we get to see the real version of the world, where the real Doctor and real Bill are in, and it's like, oh, they haven't hung out at all. Like, the Doctor still has his full vision. Like, he hasn't been they haven't done Oxygen. They probably didn't do Knock Knock. They didn't do a Smile, all that stuff. Like, that's what I thought, but then it's like, well, no, it's just the same. Like, the thing about the simulation reality thing is that it's not a crazy thing to say unless you give me weight to it. Because it's not a crazy idea, right? It's like, that is just one of the many theories and people can have of, like, what is reality itself, right? It's like a Matrix kind of situation. Because the thing about reality is that nobody actually knows how reality exists, essentially. Like, what we are right now, what's in front of us, what's around us. We actually don't know what the fuck any of it is. We do know, like, particles and shit. And, like, if you ask someone, you can be like, well, the Big Bang created everything. And it's like, yeah, but what was before that? And then when people start going like, I don't know. And it's like, well, nobody knows. Like, nobody knows how anything exists from, like, the core. So one of the many theories, it's like, everything's just a simulation. But then you have to explain a simulation of what? How the thing that created the simulation happened to begin with. So then you start going crazier and crazier and crazier, and yeah, just crazier and crazier. But if Doctor Who wanted to say, like, this shit was just a simulation all along, the entire season, fuck it, you can say more than that. You can say the entire show has been a simulation, and you could go back to the real world, and it would still work, essentially. Because it's like, the fact that it is a simulation doesn't take away any of its credibility. It doesn't take away any of its reality, or, like, weight, or message of meaning, or any of it, essentially. You can have a meaningful story and then be like, oh, it was a simulation all along, but it's like, well, those characters, those interactions, the message, the struggles, all of that was still real. Like, it wasn't real, but it was real for the point that it needs to be, right? And, like, in a way, the fact that this is media, this is a show, in a way, it is living in its own simulation, because it's like, well, in our world, we have Peter Capaldi, we have Pearl Mackie, we have Matt Lucas, we have Moffat, we have all of these people that work on the show, they're real life people. This show is fake, right? But let's operate thinking that this show is real, in, like, an alternate reality, in, like, a simulation reality, right? And it's like, it would still hold its weight, even if it's not real, because that would be like saying like, well, the show doesn't matter because it's not like a real life documentary thing, like it's just acting, so it doesn't matter. And it's like, well, no, it doesn't work like that, you know. The same way that video games can hold weight, they can have meaning, they can make you feel things. Story-driven games more than anything, and it's like, yeah, they're not real, but they still hold their own weight, essentially. So you can totally say like everything the show ever was happening in the simulation world if you wanted to go fuck you crazy with it, just saying that everything was all a simulation all along would just be crazy. So it would be something that Moffat would do. It would be something that I expect Moffat would do. And the fact that it wasn't that, and it was just the episode, it was like, yeah, okay, less so than what I thought. Because the thing is that if you say that everything was a simulation always, it's like, it still doesn't matter, because the meaning is still there. It's just a show we're watching, right? And if it is like a perfect simulation kind of deal, so it's like, it's still like, it doesn't matter, because it's just the same. Like, we always saw the same thing. Okay, wait. It's a simulation of the entire universe, or is it just Earth? That's what I'm thinking about. The thing I disagree with is that everyone committed suicide upon realizing that we live in a simulation, essentially. That's the one thing that I was like, are we sure about that? Are we really sure about that? Also, like, I feel like people in the simulation would just realize that they can just, like, tap a table and, like... It's not even tapping a table. It's just thinking numbers, and then other people would think of the same number. I feel like people would realize that in, like, a minute. Like, because of the simulation holds every person in the entire world population, which is, like, 8 billion right now. So it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure people would notice that in, like, a minute. Just, like, counting that given that there's like 8 billion people in the world, it's like, and every single one of them is sapient, is sentient, like all of them, someone would just realize, oh shit, if we think numbers, we think the same number. Like, that's kind of silly. Initially, I thought it was like a loophole of tapping a table, thinking the number, saying it out loud after the tap, and then it would be the same one. Because that's like a very specific computer bug that you accidentally figure out. And because here's the thing, is that like I play a lot of video games. Worlds in games have specific bugs. Just programming in general for computers have very specific bugs that you can figure out how they happen and then exploit them. But it's like, I would have believed more, because like the explanation for the numbers from a Moffat point of view was like, well, computers are not very good with numbers. Lie. That's a lie. And if the computer itself thinks of numbers, random numbers, they're not really random because everyone thinks the same number. And it's like, I'm not sure that is true. I'm pretty sure a computer can run like multiple RNG rolling at the same time. I'm not sure if 8 billion, but it can do multiple, I'm sure. But I would have believed more if it was just like a very specific bug that allow you to realize that it wasn't real. Which I initially thought that was like the table tapping and saying the number. Like, you have to do a very specific action for it to trigger, making it a bug. Like a bug, a glitch in the Matrix, whatever you want to call it. And then is when you realize it, essentially. That would have been even better for me. Though I do want to say, I feel like I'm being way too critical of this episode. And I wouldn't say in a negative way even. It's just like me saying like, oh, that would have been awesome. But it's like, okay, this episode is so far the best episode of this season. Just for sure. I just wanted to say that. Because I feel like I'm going way too sidetracked on stuff that I wish was a little bit different. But that episode was the best one this season so far. This season, again, has been a mountain. Like, it's been consistently getting better and better and better. So episode 1 was good. Episode 2 was less good. Episode 3 was good. Episode 4 was better. Episode 5 was awesome. Episode 6 is like, yo, what the fuck? And it's great, by the way. So yeah, I just wanted to say that before people think that I'm not thinking like that. I'm not feeling positively about this episode, because I am. This episode was the shit. Okay, so the whole computer simulation thing aside, which I think is a very interesting concept to visit, by the way. I think it's a very interesting concept to visit. Which is why I'm kind of bummed out at the fact that it wasn't as crazy as I thought it would be. It's just like, oh, this episode is a simulation. And it's like, that kind of sucks. I kind of wanted everything to be a simulation, you know? A little bit, you know? Because otherwise the reveal doesn't really have the weight that it has. Because again, the idea of a computer simulation, like reality being a computer simulation, is not too crazy, right? At this point, it's not too crazy. So the fact that they didn't also have any like giant impact to it, in the sense of how much was a simulation on scale alone, it means that the reveal was a little bit underwhelming, because you can actually tell in the reaction when they were like, these are all projections. I was like, oh, reality is a simulation. That's what we're doing then. And it's like, yeah, it was. And they treated it as like a full reveal. Like Nuttall was like, please don't let me be right. Don't let me be right. And he put his hand out and it's like, I'm not real. And it's like, and then we had the reveal, like Bill talking to the doctor and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, reality is a simulation. Like, I got it. Move on, please. I still enjoy those scenes, by the way. I don't mean to sound like that. But it's like, whenever you tap into reality simulation thing, I'm like, I'm hooked. But I'm also, like, you're setting a high expectation there, you know? So, the really cool thing that made the episode really cool was, well, a couple of things. Mainly, I want to say that it was, we got to see, it's a very weird setting. It's a very weird thing to see, but we got to see it, and this is something I'm very happy about. And it's, what would happen if the people inside the simulation gain sentience, or about the fact that they were in a simulation, and what that means of being like, okay, someone wants to conquer the world, so they created a simulation that is just a perfect replica of the original world, but you're in it, like you're not real, that kind of shit. And it's like, we get to experience this version of like, okay, the fake people gain knowledge that they're fake people, and they live in a fake world. And it's like, what would happen then? And the answer, according to this episode, is they would all commit suicide. I think I've referenced Doki Doki Literature Club before, but it's something I go to for this right now. I feel like it's the most fitting right now, because in that game, spoilers for Doki Doki Literature Club, it's a free-to-play game, get it if you haven't, but it is an experience, because the point of that game is that game kind of disguises itself as like a cutesy dating sim, whatever. But the real thing about the game is that the main character, and it's not, okay, so it's not you are the playable character, but then like the main other character that exists in that game, and it doesn't even seem like they are the main character, they're just like the president of the club or whatever. That character knows that they live in a video game world. They know that they live in a fake world. And the thing is that that game becomes a psychological horror game, because that character, that video game character, realizes they're a video game character and they want to escape. So then they start fucking with the video game files, like actually. Like the video game files change, like the writing change, the coding change, and characters get deleted. Like, because this character inside the game deletes them, and it's like, I want to get out. I want to live in your world. Like, I hate living here because I'm not real. My friends aren't real. This world isn't real. And like, that game goes really hard on that shit. And that became like one of my favorite characters ever. Her name's Monica. Because of the fact that after, like, when you get to the end of the game, you can actually sit with that character and just talk for like 50 minutes. For like 50 minutes, this character has just things to say about their situation and your situation and just general life advice in sometimes. It's like very weird. But it's like, this character says like, I don't know where I'm from. Because I think about it and I'm like, I exist in this like club, in this like school thing, but it's like I look outside and it's like, what is the setting? I guess it's like Japan, but I guess it's not. We're not talking Japanese. I don't feel like this is Japanese at all. Like we speak in very English mannerisms, and it's like wow, this is so self-aware because it's like it is acknowledging its existence as a video game. It is acknowledging how it was made, and it's like the character I think says like, I don't know how I feel about this setting because it feels like home, but it doesn't. I look at it and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. It's like, and they say this, it's like, imagine you look out of your window and you see your backyard, but it's not your backyard. It doesn't feel like it, but it is. And it's like, that is a weird but fitting analogy that like gives me a feeling as to what it would be like, right? I'm going way too sidetracked in Doki Doki, but it's like, I think it is fitting to this thing, which I think was the coolest thing in the episode, which is the fact that you have what are essentially video game characters realizing that they're video game characters. They're not video games, they're simulation characters, but you get what I mean. They're simulation characters, not real, living in a not real world, realizing that they're not real and they don't live in the real world. Like, they just realize that, just straight up. And it's like, what would happen? And in the case of Monica and Doki Doki, she literally goes crazy. She does everything in her power to, like, escape, kills everyone, and ultimately decides to destroy the game because she realizes that nobody gonna be happy in that game ever, because someone would always have the realization, an epiphany, to the fact that nothing is real. And that would make them go crazy. So she just decides to kill the world. That's the only solution. In this case, in Doctor Who, in Extremis, everyone commits suicide too. Everyone goes crazy and commits suicide. And it's like... So... I was... Initially, I was like, what could be the worst imaginable thing that could happen to these people for them to commit suicide before it happens, right? I was thinking that something would happen that would make them commit suicide before it happens, because the one thing that would happen would be so fucked up. And what I was thinking about is like, maybe everyone would turn into zombies, like, I don't know, like everyone would go to hell, everybody would burn alive, I don't know. What could be worse than just blowing yourself up for no reason? Like, there's many things that could be worse, right? But we actually need to decipher what. And the answer is nothing, actually. It's just the epiphany of what their existence is, which is nothing. And that's when everyone decides to commit suicide. And, well, I guess you do have the thing of, like, I'm not real, and also, this world exists just so these aliens can take it, essentially. Like, that is the fucked up thing, is the fact that this simulation world is not only not real, and I'm not real, but also aliens are gonna come and take it. Because, like, this simulation exists only as training for those aliens to take over. So that is going to happen. That is 100% going to happen. Because that was kind of the point. So just the setting of, like, the world realizes they're fake is really good. I just really like that, by the way. That's just great. That's just fantastic. I want more of that. I want more of that, of, like, characters realize that they're characters, or like the world realizes that they're fake, and what happens then. That is a fantastic setting. And not like Matrix, where it's like, all right, this is fake, so we awaken in the real world, and then we do that. It's like, no. I want them to realize they're actually characters in a show, or in a video game, or whatever. That's what I want to do. Which I guess is not what this episode did, so I guess I'm getting sidetracked again. But it's like, it still applies, because no, I guess everyone would know that they're real. Yeah, I guess everyone would know that they're real. I mean, not them in the episode, but it's like, they know that they exist in a different world where they are actually real. So I guess that kind of, like, I don't know, I just don't fully agree with people just killing themselves after realizing that they're all fake. I wouldn't. I would just be like, huh, so I was right in my one of my crazy stoner theories, even if it's just that version was right, I would just be like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna go and eat something, like a burger, drink something. It's like, because that doesn't change anything. Like, that's the thing, is that doesn't actually change anything. Like, reality is still what I perceive it to be. The world around me is still the world around me. Doesn't matter if it's a fake world, it's still real to me, because I'm still real to me in that scenario, right? That doesn't change anything. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I do, essentially. So that really doesn't change anything. But the fucked up part would be the aliens are coming to take over, essentially. That would be the bad part. That would be the bad one. But then it's like, well, it's gonna happen anyway, so fuck it. Who cares? Like, who cares? By the way, I just thought about the fact that I was thinking, I said earlier, like, why wouldn't they realize that sooner? And it's like, well, I'm like, yeah, this simulation is probably like, I don't know, like 10 minutes long, essentially. Like, this simulation only simulated this one night, essentially. Because it's like, yeah, because like the aliens only need the setting of planet Earth with all the knowledge and memories that they normally would have at that specific moment, right? So I guess the simulation is only like 10 minutes long, or like an hour long, I guess. And like the episode starts and the simulation starts, essentially. And anything before that didn't actually happen. It was just the memory of it had happened. Of it happening, I guess. So yeah. Yeah, okay. That makes things make a lot more sense. Kind of shuts me up on everything, but also it's like a little lamer. Still pretty cool, because I still enjoy the simulation setting a lot. Okay, I've done nothing but talk about simulation for like half an hour. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. Let's talk about the Doctor. So, even though this is not the real Doctor, he is in a way. We got to see the Doctor we got to see an episode of the Doctor blind, which is something we haven't seen. Because the thing is that he went blind at the end of the previous episode, and, well, I guess the previous episode he was blind for like half of it, or more, so it's like, well, not sure. It still kind of applies, but it's like, this episode we actually saw him in an adventure where he was blind, like, the whole time, except that one time where he regained vision for like a little bit. Did he have full vision? Oh, no, he regained vision for a little bit. Then he kind of lost it, and then he used the laptop to read the book to him. Okay. So, we got to see that. And what would happen is that the Doctor would just be like, try to hide it. So, like, nobody knows except Nardole. Not even Bill. Just Nardole. So, a lot of situations where Nardole had to actually, like, tell the Doctor what was happening. So we had that. The Doctor for a moment did a thing where he regained vision by giving something from his future something like, oh, future regeneration would be blind, or like maybe he won't have any regenerations at all. Like, he doesn't know. But it's like that doesn't matter because that wasn't real, I guess. But the Doctor might do that again in the real world now. So that could be a thing that happens. I don't know. That I feel like I needed to point that out because it's like we got a full episode of Blind Doctor, and that was good because like I said a previous episode during the review, like he can still do the episode. He can still carry himself in a way that it's like it still makes sense. And there's gonna be struggles because of him being blind, but he can just still solve shit and say shit, and it will still work out. All right, let's talk about Missy and the Bolt. So I was right. It was Missy. So Missy was in the Bolt all along. The Doctor was supposed to be her executioner, but then he decided not to. He decided to just wound her and then just lock her away in the Bolt instead of being an executioner, just like imprisoning her for 1,000 years and then guard that Bolt for 1,000 years. Okay? Does it mean that the Doctor stayed on Earth for like 1,000 years just guarding Missy? Did he do that? He did say he was 2,000 years old to Bill earlier this season. He should have said 3,000 if he was guarding Missy. But then again, like, what the fuck is the Doctor age, right? Like, the Doctor age is always like one of this weird topics where it's like I have no idea, dude. I have no idea. Didn't the first Doctor say he was like 900 or something like that, and like the fifth Doctor or like whatever said he was like 1 point whatever thousand? I don't know. Like, the age has been super inconsistent, but I guess they've been. But like the thing is that they have been trying to keep it somewhat consistent with the modern series. Where Eccleston said he was like 900, Tennant was like 900 something. We had Tennant was like 900 something, and then he stayed like 200 years just hanging out at the end of series 4 and before End of Time. Then we got Matt Smith, who hung out. Yeah, hung out for a couple hundred years in Series 6 at the end before he had to go to Lake Silencio. Then he had to stay for like another 900 years for Trenzalore, which would make him 2000. And then Capaldi had to also be around 2000. But if you count Heaven Sent, that would make him like it doesn't matter. Like he's 4.5 billion years forever, right? But I don't think you count Heaven Sent, because here's the thing about Heaven Sent. Is that so again, a lot of people didn't realize, and I didn't realize immediately, but it's like the Doctor remembers Heaven Sent. He remembers every loop. There is a moment where he actually remembers. I'm not sure how, but he says it. He says that he remembers. But the thing about Heaven Sent is that nothing happens in Heaven Sent. Like, that's the thing about it, is that Heaven Sent is not 4.5 billion years of like memories, or like not like memories, but it's 4.5 billion years of anything, of action, of they don't like the Doctor doesn't do anything for 4.5 billion years. He just walks around this one place, punches a wall, and then he has to do it again. And the thing is that he doesn't remember this until the very last moment when he punches the wall, and then he has to crawl back for like a day, which is the roughest part, I think. So the Doctor, the entire 4.5 billion years, he keeps thinking about his 2,000 year life, essentially. Like, we have 2,000 years, and then we have this, like, tiny bit of time, which is actually, like, infinity inside of it, but it's super tiny, because the Doctor only experiences, like, a week of memories, and then, like, there's the 2,000 behind it. And then at the very end of it, he actually realized that this tiny bit is actually 4.5 billion years. But it's like that entire time, he's still thinking about the first 2000 because no new information is coming. Because he doesn't remember. So that's how that works. So I don't think he counts that because I don't think I would count that, essentially. So he would still be 2000 something. But if he stayed guarding Missy for 1,000 years, that would make him 3,000 instead. And I'm pretty sure he did, because at the beginning of the season, like they do say like, oh, this dude, the doctor, he's working at this faculty or whatever. He's been here for like 70 years. Like nobody knows what the fuck that dude is about. And it's like, okay, that tells me that the doctor has been here hanging out for a long time. And it's like, that seems to be the case, yeah. So I would think that he has been hanging out with guarding the vault for 1,000 years. Like that's something I would think was the case. So I'm just gonna call bullshit on the Doctor's age and say like, yeah, he's actually 3,000. Could be wrong. Could be wrong though. I don't know. I don't have the information. Nardole did show up at a request of River's song. So that's what happened. River was like, you look after that fucking old man, and Nardole was like, yes, ma'am. And that's why he's here, essentially. I like that. I like that we actually got an explanation for Nardole being here now. Which was River just told him, hey, go look after him. I like that, because it's like, it shows that River still had, like, something to do. Like, after River's gone, and we're probably never going to see her again, maybe, but I don't know. After River's gone, it's like, okay, she still did something so that can still be relevant to the plot in some way through Nardole, even after she's gone. And I like that. I like that a lot. So I like that Nardole's here for that reason. I like that we actually got confirmation on that. For a second, I thought that at the end of the episode, it would be that Missy is like the only real link that the fake doctor had to the real world, because she did say like, without hope, without anything, I'm still your friend. And I was like, is that like a message of like, free me and then we can escape together because like I'm the only real person here or something like that? But it's like, well, no, the simulation is only like 10 minutes long, and also like yeah, no, that doesn't work like that. So I was like, okay, yeah. Next episode might be a big one. Because this entire episode essentially was just set up for the next one, which was, I don't know if next one, but it's like, in the future, we're gonna be getting this weird alien invasion. And it's like, okay, what do I say here? Okay, so I had a thought and then I lost it. Sorry, I'm like super out of it today. Most days, honestly, but you know, if the next episode is just an alien invasion, it's not gonna be as interesting as this one, honestly, because like this episode just went fuck you nuts with the whole simulation thing, and the thing is that the simulation ended. Like that's it. Next episode is not gonna be a simulation unless it's simulation inside simulations. You know, that can also be a thing. They can do that totally. The Moffat twist. But other than that, like, next episode, if it's an alien invasion or whatever, it's probably not going to be as interesting as this one. It could be. I don't know. I'm going to shut up about that. But, okay. Oh, I do want to say, like, I do like that the solution is, like, to the episode was essentially, like, the Doctor realizing, like, well, we're all simulations, but you know what? That tells me that there is a real one out there, so I'm just going to send him a message. And he sent him a message, because it's like, the thing about Simulation Doctor is that he's still the Doctor, you know, like, he actually says it. It's like, what can you do? You're just a simulation. It's like, I'm like, you didn't need to be real to be the Doctor, you know, you can still be the Doctor as long as you're like trap bad guys with their own traps, you know, something like that. And it's like that's really good because it's like the thing about simulation here is that it's still real. It's still real within it, you know? It's not physically real, but that doesn't make it less real. Like, the information is still there. And that's essentially like everything is. It's just information. So he's just sending his information to the real one. And then the real one is like, got it. Thank you, simulation me. You know? And it's like, there we go. Simulation Doctor is still real because he still did a real action with the real experiences, real information, and he sent those to a real action to the real doctor. And it's like, thank you. You know? That works. So, like, I do like that. Of, like, simulation people, still people. You know? I do like that a lot. It's fun. So... Dude, I like that we just went to the Vatican. I like that we went to the Pentagon, even if it was just like tiny bit of an office, and then we went to CERN. I do like that we went to all this like big, awesome places that the world has. You know, I do like that a lot, and I do like that every person at CERN, all these physicists, just said, "Oh, we're not real. All right, just dynamite the whole building. Just fuck it." Let's go. Boom. Blow everything up. You know? Like, I like that. So, that's what happened. That's what happened. I think we're done. I actually need to go eat. It's like 2 p.m. I haven't eaten anything. And, because I really needed to record this. Because I'm running late on recordings right now. Because I've been trying to do some other stuff. But it's like, yeah, okay. So, yeah, I think we're done. Extremis was the shit. I didn't actually inspect the episode to see if there was other shit that I needed to talk about, because we talked about the Dr. Missy stuff, being sentenced. The Pope was dope. Pope, the cardinals, the whole religious thing, Doctor being blind, Nardo being a badass a little bit. I like that. The Pentagon, they traveling from one place to another, school, CERN. Simulation. The doctor sends the thing to simulation. And we're done. Okay. Yeah, that's it. This episode was the shit, by the way. I like this episode a lot. Sorry if it didn't seem like it while doing the review. That's not my intention. But I did like this episode fucked on. I really. It's like the best episode in a long time. Yeah, it's the best episode this season. So it's definitely the best episode in the previous like 6 episodes or something like that. So it's like, yeah, it's great. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching this reaction to a Doctor Who episode. If you would like to see next one, it's already up on Patreon as well as full length. Check out the links in the description, gaming channel, all the fun stuff, and I'll see you next time. Take care.